Hello, everyone. It is another installment, another episode of the Bomber Briefing, episode 4. I'm Jake Asman, along for the ride, and joining us here in today's episode of the Bomber Briefing is a member of the Ithaca College defensive line, defensive tackle, Giancarlo Kelly Jr. on the football team. G, I've been told that's your nickname. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let's kind of just start with how unusual this time is for everyone. I mean, normally you would be playing at Butterfield every Saturday in the fall, and right now you're not. So just how weird has it been to not be playing football in the fall?
It's a new experience. It's almost like back before you ever played football, and the fall you were just watching other people play. It's cool to train, but you miss being with the guys, and you miss game planning and going in every week ready to play a different jersey. So it's something I don't want to get used to, but have to deal with the situation.
So what has your football career been like? Take us back to when you first started playing. What made you fall in love with the game?
So for me, I started playing my freshman year of high school. I really loved you don't just have to be strong, you have to be smart, and that you have to have a balance of both. And you really have to always, it's something you always work for. And it becomes not only just a sport, it becomes a lifestyle. And that's something that I've really fallen in love with. I've fallen in love with the grind and what that can lead to and the places it can take you.
Now you're outside of Philadelphia where you grew up and where you obviously played some high school ball. So how did you go from Philadelphia to Ithaca College? What was the recruiting process like for you?
For me, it started with camps. So I went to University of Penn camp, which is right down there in I think that's southern area of Philly. And I'm there, and Coach Swanstrom walks up to me, and I'm at DN, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I would really like to see you at D tackle." And I was just like, "I'm a little small for D tackle," but I line up at D tackle, and then after the drills are over, he shakes my hand, introduces himself again, and later, he invites me to the camp up at Ithaca, and I go up to the camp. And we got another chance to talk, and then he was like, "Listen, I would really love if you came on a visit." And I visited again, and I really just ended up falling in love with the campus and what they had to offer there. And that's how I ended up up at Ithaca. I've never even heard of Ithaca until I met Coach Swanstrom, so it was new. It was new for me.
Really? Okay. So when you first got to Ithaca, it's listen, I'm from outside of New York City. So when you first go to Ithaca, it's not like, your typical city like campus, right? Ithaca is a very unique town. So what was that experience like seeing the campus for the first time?
Seeing the campus, I thought the campus, when I came for the camp, I didn't see the whole campus. But then later when I came and visited, I actually saw the whole campus. I was like, this is a nice campus. And the town was, I didn't see the town first. I saw those areas leading into the town. I was just like, this isn't Philadelphia. And then I got to the college, and I was like, I like what they got going on here, and the facilities were really nice, and I just really loved how they ran things. So it caught my eye easily.
Now you're 2 seasons in playing in the Bomber program. Give us some of your thoughts on what the experience has been like, some lasting memories you've had so far through your first 2 seasons.
Man, it doesn't even feel like it's been 2 years almost. I think for me, my biggest memory, and I'm sure Ed could also relate, was freshman year. And it's, it was only 3D tackles, me, Ed, Warren, and myself. And like freshman year, we're in the freshman practices, and we're running every rep. And it was tiring, but that was our introduction to college football. And that's where, when things get hard, and you get into the tough situations and that football brings, that's kind of something that I kind of think back on. And I was able to make it through that practice, and I can make it through anything. So that's one memory. Of course, Cortica is another. In the Mud Bowl was a memory. That was
take us through the Mud Bowl, because we'll get to the Cortica Jug experience. I mean, how can we talk Bomber football and not talk about what you guys went through last year? But take us through the Mud Bowl. I haven't heard this story.
So the Mud Bowl, I'm trying to think. I think we played St. Lawrence that game. And it's Ithaca. The weather gets a little interesting sometimes, and it's chilly out, and then it starts raining. And we play on grass, and we're already I think we're more than 5 games into the season. And, it just happens that as the game goes on, it gets muddy and muddy and muddy. And it got bad. Like, I remember my friend coming to the sideline. He had mud all on his helmet. He couldn't see one of his numbers. And that was a game that everybody remembers because it was just we won. You're going crazy out in the rain. You're just having fun with the boys, and it was a great experience. I'll never forget that game because I've never been in a game like that before. So I've never been around a game like that. So that was a good one.
That's awesome. So, all right, let's talk Cortica. There's not too many people that have played college football that could say, no matter what level, that they played a game at an NFL stadium in front of that many fans, over 45,000 fans. Even if you're at the top D1 schools, sometimes you don't even get fans with that many people in the building. So, what was that experience like when you first found out, hey, this was happening, and then that entire week leading up to the game? Take us back to kind of what you were thinking going through that.
We kind of, it's hard not to think, oh my goodness, we're going to be playing MetLife Stadium, right? It was just built a couple years, like I think like a decade ago. It's not that long ago. So it was like one of those things where you gotta focus on the game and not everything that's around it. And that's something that we really preached that whole week, because if you spend too many times focusing on the things around it, you're going to lose sight of what we're there for. So the feeling, we kind of thought, like, if you needed any motivation to get ready for this week, like, you're clearly in the wrong sport, because we're playing in MetLife. So we took that into our advantage, and we prepared that much more and that much harder for that game and for what that game would bring. And it the idea you had of what the game would be like was just an understatement to when you really ran out of the tunnel. And we practiced there the day before, but when you ran out of there with all those, like you said, the 45,000 plus people, that was just like, wow, all right, we're here. Let's get to work. We took our time and looked around, but then it was like, let's get to work. We're here for a reason.
How much sweeter is it that, hey, you guys had that experience, but most importantly, you won the game?
Oh, it made the bus ride home 10 times better. Not only could you say that we played in MetLife, but we won in MetLife, and we put a pretty good game out there. So that was very fun. That was
absolutely. It was a ton of fun to be there. I flew in from Houston for it, and had an unbelievable experience with a bunch of Bomber alums. So
can't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, can't miss that for the world. So let me ask you about this. I was told by Coach Swanstrom and some other members of the team that you're the glue guy on the team, that you set the tempo at practice, the music playlist that runs through you, G. So break it down. What's on that playlist, practice in, practice out.
So what it's really about is, you don't want to it's a large responsibility a little bit, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're playing a song and nobody's feeling it, but you also want to play a song that everybody can connect with. So for me, a song that I know Coach Swanstrom is "It Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube. Like, that song is just, he just really like sets a standard for a good day, and it's just like everybody knows it, everybody's familiar with it. We play a couple songs. We played some Earth, Wind, and Fire before. We played I think it was September. From everywhere. Music from everywhere, and just really getting the guys going. And when everybody's down there stretching and singing together, the coaches, it sets the tone for practice as far as energy is concerned, and the coaches enjoy it, the players enjoy it. It's just great getting along with each other. And
now, G, you got to tell me. I heard there was some sort of debate going on with macaroni and cheese between the defensive line guys and Coach Swanstrom. What's happening there?
So, I'm talking to Coach Swanstrom, and he's just like, listen, I love mac and cheese. He's like, but the best mac and cheese is Kraft. And me and some of the guys in the D-line are like, whoa, like, there's a flag. Flag on the play. There's no way it's Kraft. Kraft is good. Like I said, Kraft is good, but there's no way it's Kraft. My mom, everybody's like, my mom makes good Kraft, my uncle, my grandma, whatever. And like, so one day he's gonna have to try some Kraft. He's gonna have to try some real mac and cheese. Kraft is good, but it's not the gold standard. So there's an ongoing debate about Kraft with the team and Coach Armstrong. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're also a part of the Ithaca College Athletic Program's Leadership Academy. Can you discuss your role in that academy and some of your experiences being involved in that?
So basically, it's kind of helping people who join the Leadership Academy to becoming a leader. And people can have the components of a leader, but what does it mean to talk the talk and walk the walk? It's just something that we really talk about in Leadership Academy. So we have every couple months or whatever, we have like we meet, for about an hour, and we talk about, there's different topics for each one. But basically, how can we become a leader, and how can we become, more importantly, an effective leader? And how can, and getting into my junior year, and then, next year into my senior year, it's how we can lead and how we can bring people with us. And that's important, because you don't want to be a person that leads, but nobody's following you. You want to set a standard, but you also want to encourage others to set the standard, and to, do that day in and day out. And that's something that we talk about a lot in Leadership Academy throughout the course of my freshman, sophomore, and now my junior year.
As far as your education experience, what's your major, and what have been your thoughts? Now 2 and almost, I guess it would be what it'd be 2 semesters as a freshman, 2 as a sophomore, and almost 1 as a junior now. So you've been at IC for a little while now. What have you made of your major and some of your classes?
So my major is sport management. I love my classes, to be honest, and I love the teachers in the sport management department. And I'll share a fun memory. A fun memory for me is last semester I had the opportunity to go with the sport management department down to Super Bowl 52, I believe it was. And we went down there. We were able to work some events and really get some good work in out in the field. And you encounter all kinds of NFL players and NFL administration and stuff like that. And we had the opportunity to work around them and to really practice what we might be doing one day in our professional career.
That's awesome. So finally, what would be, your message to someone that's thinking about going to Ithaca College? They've been heavily recruited by Coach Swanstrom and his staff, and they're deciding if they want to, make the commitment that you did and commit to playing 4 years at Ithaca College. What would be your message to that recruit?
My message to them is, what you see is what you get. And the first time I met Coach Swanstrom, the first time I met him at Ithaca, he shook my hand and he knew my name before I even said it. And that was something that, they require us to know about each of our teammates, but they also hold that standard to themselves that they know about us. And he could tell you where I'm from and what high school I went to. And we talk about that all the time. And what you see is what you get. Sometimes you hear stories about people getting up to a school and what they were showed isn't what they, experienced when they got up there. But when I got up to Ithaca, what I saw before and what I saw after is the exact same thing and even better. And they hold true to their word and they hold us to a high standard. But like I said, even more so, they hold themselves to a high standard. And that's something that is an ingredient for a good football team and a good coaching staff.
G, great job, man. Best of luck to you. I can't wait to watch you guys out there on the field once again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 99.
Keep up the great work with those playlists too. The Bomber players need to get pumped up every practice.
For sure. Every year brings new music. I gotta keep them on their toes. I gotta put something out there they're not going to expect, but they're going to like and vibe to. So, you know how that goes.
He's Giancarlo Kelly. I'm Jake Asman. This has been another episode of Bomber Briefing. We'll see you soon.